So the other day I bought a gratitude journal and I started to write down my manifestations instead of typing them on the computer. And what I found is that there's something about writing it down that just completely shifts the process of manifestation. Because you trick your brain into actually thinking and believing and feeling, and you trick your subconscious mind into feeling that it's already done now. And so you don't technically have to be more present to the moment to do this, because writing it down already kind of makes you more present. But what I experienced is that if I combine being present to the moment with affirmations and using something like a gratitude journal, what happens is something powerful. Because what happens when you do that is you're releasing resistance to the moment. You're opening your subconscious mind to the infinite possibilities that exist within your infinite consciousness. And then you write it down. You see the difference? Because why do people use manifestation techniques before they go to sleep? Because what happens there is you're releasing resistance to the present moment. You're opening your subconscious mind. You're entering a state of awareness of your ego, which implies that there's no more ego, because ego implies a lack of consciousness. When you shift as the awareness and the conscious observer, there's no more ego. And so that's why people use that technique before they go to sleep. But then here's the thing. You don't actually have to wait before you go to sleep to release resistance to the moment and to open up your subconscious mind. You can do this by simply releasing the resistance on its own by being more present to the moment. So if you're new to this channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because I post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to become a private client, then consider applying for a free consultation by hitting the website that's in the description box of this video. So the first thing I want to share with you when it comes to how to make affirmations actually work is to become more present to the moment. Because when you become present to the moment, what happens is you release the resistance and you actually open up your subconscious mind to being more receptive to the affirmation that you're trying to use. So if you try to use a gratitude journal from a space of not being present, then what happens is it doesn't actually work. It doesn't work in the way that it could, because your subconscious mind is not open. You're still attached to your ego. You're still attached to the false sense of self, which doesn't allow you to start manifesting in a much more powerful way. So using the manifestation before you go to sleep only is very limiting. Your infinite consciousness has the power to make affirmations work, to enter the vibration of the thing that you want, even without going to sleep, without just using it before you go to sleep at night. Because when I get very present to the moment, and then I clear my mind, okay, I shift my awareness to my breathing, I go meta on my thoughts, I understand that I am not my ego, I understand that I am not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions, I'm not my body, but I'm actually a spiritual being, which is just a label to represent the awareness and the consciousness, the observer of form, okay, the consciousness that can literally create anything that it wants. Okay, you're God. You could use the word God. God can create anything that it wants. And as God, you're not limited to just your ego and what you've already created. You as God can literally shift into anything that it wants. So understanding this is about manifestation from the infinite mind, not just manifesting from the ego. Manifestation from the infinite consciousness that you actually are. When you step into that space of being the awareness of thoughts, being the awareness of your emotions, not identified with the form, and now you can use something like a gratitude journal, and what you'll experience is that you actually start to feel like it's done already. because you know that it exists now. The frequency exists now. And you know that the universe works in powerful ways where you will start to attract things into your life based on that vibration that you're in. So when I'm using my gratitude journal and I start writing down, I am grateful that I inspire millions of people every single day. I am grateful that I have 500,000 subscribers. I am grateful that I already have my soulmate relationship. I actually start to feel it as if it's already done. Like, it's pretty crazy. I actually literally start to feel as if it's already done, and I feel on top of the world. And the thing is, when I was present to the moment, I didn't even care because I was already content. I already had inner peace. But then when I clear my mind and step out of my ego and then also start to use the affirmations from that state, it's really, really powerful what can happen. It's almost like affirmations and visualization work times 1,000 when you're in an egoless state of consciousness, because you realize that you are God. You are literally God that can create anything that it wants. And I know it's crazy to sound like I'm not religious by any means. When I say God, I'm just referring to the consciousness that can observe thoughts and emotions and feelings. The consciousness where all possibilities exist. And so it's super interesting to see that from that state, from that egoless state where time doesn't exist, affirmations start to work in a much more powerful way. And so before I use my gratitude journal, I make it a habit to be present to the moment, which I always do. That's been my journey, is to teach and embody this state of being present to the moment. That's what I've been after for the last 4 or 5 years. But I think I'm starting to feel a shift in a new theme in my life where I keep going back and forth between consciousness and ego, and then realizing, like, wait a second, affirmations are 10,000 times more powerful when you let go of your ego, right? In the present tense, as if it's done. Not in the future, because time doesn't exist. Here's another tip that I have for you. When you're present to the moment and you're there as the conscious observer, disidentified from the ego. What is the ego? It's the unobserved mind. So when you shift as the conscious observer of thoughts, of emotions, of sense perceptions, you realize that you are not those things. You're not the limited avatar, but you are actually the consciousness that can observe form. From that state, you realize that time doesn't exist. Time is a fiction of the mind. Time only exists in the ego state. And when you become present to the moment and shift as the awareness versus as the ego and the person and the identification with the mind, you shift as the awareness of thoughts, which means that you are not your ego anymore, but you are just simply the awareness of thought form and emotion and feeling. You're there as the spaciousness where all possibilities exist. You start to see that time doesn't exist. And if you know that time doesn't exist, now you're in a state of no resistance and you're more receptive to mastering the psychology of your mind. Mastering the psychology of your subconscious mind. Consciously tuning into the affirmations that you prefer, rather than your ego unconsciously creating your reality based on the conditions of the past. Most people have affirmations that are based on the past. Okay, the universe and the consciousness of who you are doesn't actually understand time. So when you're saying, I am so grateful that I'm making $20,000 a month, that's the one I use, and I'm getting closer and closer to it, is that, like, my ego doesn't know the difference. When I say that, I actually start to feel as if it's already done, and I start to embody that identity. I am so grateful that large sums of money come to me easily and effortlessly. Okay, that's when Jake Ducey uses a lot. I love that. I am so abundant. I am so healthy, right? Some of these are already true, and I believe them to be true. But here's the thing, is that if you're attached to some old identity, you might not feel these to be true. But when you enter the egoless state, what happens is you start to enter a new frame of mind where you can actually feel that those affirmations exist now. And you can trick your subconscious mind into believing that that version of you already exists now. And so releasing the ego and disidentifying from the false sense of self, tapping into the infinite mind, will accelerate your manifestation process. It will accelerate your affirmations because you'll be so receptive and you can get the exact same results, not just going to sleep at night. You can do meditation. You can just calm your mind down, focus on your sense perceptions, connect deeply to the present moment, and then use an affirmation and grab a gratitude journal or something. Do something. Start using affirmations. But make sure that you're present to the moment when you actually do this. And you'll experience something powerful because you'll see that you literally start to feel, like when I use my gratitude journal, I literally feel like I have the thing that I want. And it feels amazing. Like it feels really good. And I know that it's coming in that state. I know that it's coming. I know that it's here now. Comment down below, my manifestation is already here now. Okay, comment down below, my manifestation is already here now. Okay, make sure you have to write now. That's the super important thing. You don't miss the now. My manifestation's already here now. Comment that down below. And feel it fully and understand that your manifestation is here now because you know that you are infinite consciousness. You are not your ego. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not a sense perception. You are no thing. You're not even a form in reality. You're a spiritual being having a temporary human experience, as Aaron Doughty would say. But here's the thing is that you're infinite consciousness as well, which means the same thing. You are the observer. You are the awareness. You are the pure consciousness that observes form. And from that state of consciousness, well then guess what? You can use any affirmation and fully believe it because you know that version of you already exists now. It doesn't exist one day. It exists in the field of consciousness that you already are tapped into in this present moment. Why? Because the present moment is the only thing that exists. Is there anything happening outside of this now moment? No. It all happens now. So that means that affirmation you use is not going to happen in the future. You may as well start doing it now. You may as well already embody the physiology of who you would be in the future because it's not going to happen one day. Get a head start. Get a head start on the version of you that you think is going to happen in the future. Even if you think it's going to happen in the future, it's not. It's going to happen now. So get a head start. Start embodying that state of consciousness now because you know that your manifestation already exists now. Comment down below, my manifestation already exists now. Okay, comment that down below. And so feel it once again. Feel into the affirmation. Be more present to the moment because you know you are infinite consciousness. You are not your ego. Okay, you are not your ego. You are not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. You're not your sense perceptions. You are not even a human being. You're not a human being. You're infinite consciousness where you're playing the form of a human. We call this meat body a human, right? That's a human body. Is that what you are though? No, you're actually consciousness and the body is inside the consciousness. And so that consciousness can create anything that it wants, including stepping into a reality of using any affirmation that it wants. That's why using a gratitude journal is so powerful. It's so powerful because you literally start to change your physiology. You literally start to enter the vibration of that thing that you want. And you don't need to let go of your ego to do this. It will still work. But even if you don't intentionally let go of your ego, when you're writing down that affirmation, technically that's what you're doing. You're letting go of your ego, whether you're realizing it or not. Whether you realize it or not, when you go to sleep, if you do a manifestation technique, before you go to sleep, what are you really doing? You're letting go of your ego. When you're using a gratitude journal, what are you really doing there? You're letting go of your ego. You're tricking your mind. You're detaching from the old sense of self. When you're using an affirmation at any context and any time, what are you really doing? You're tricking your ego. You're stepping out of the ego. You're calming your mind down, right? When you do before you go to sleep, mind is calm, no ego, no resistance, affirmation. But you can apply this in any given moment, not just before you go to sleep. So many opportunities to do this. But when you understand the basic formula that it's about connecting to the moment, releasing the ego, releasing the resistance to the moment, stepping out of time, and then you use the affirmation, watch what happens. You start to embody the vibration. You'll see synchronicity start happening. You'll see that you're on the vibration of the thing that you actually want. And you'll start to actually shift into a new reality as a result, accelerating your affirmations. So that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, I want you to give this video a like and a comment if this video actually helped you out and gave you a new perspective on what affirmations really are at an infinite consciousness level. Also, I did want to announce to you that I have a free guided meditation that's specifically designed to connect you to the infinite consciousness and the present moment, which will allow you to be in a state that actually makes affirmations work in a much more powerful way. So if you want to try that out, it's completely free. Just hit the link that's in the description box of this video. I'll actually leave it as a comment in this video as well. So if you want to try it out, it is actually completely free. So that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.